The other day I was asked whether I knew of any German websites where you can check for spelling mistakes and grammar, a bit like Grammarly. And I thought, oh, I don't know. So I went to have a look. And I found 5 sites which had been recommended by other people. And I thought, I'll test them. And I've written a very short text. Dieses Jahr fahren wir nach Deutschland und ich bin sehr aufgeregt. Ich werde mit dem Flugzeug fliegen. Wir werden im August 2 Wochen bleiben und Berlin besuchen. But I put some spelling mistakes in there. So actually I wrote diese Jahr instead of dieses. I wrote fahren wir instead of fahren. Mit dem Flugzeug I changed into mit das and I put a spelling mistake in Flugzeug. I left out an E. I also mixed up a bit of past tense and future tense. So instead of wir werden im August 2 Wochen bleiben, I've written wir sind im August 2 Wochen bleiben. And I forgot the capital letter on Berlin. How did they fare? The first one I checked was languagetool.org.de, and they're giving you a sample text so that you know what's happening, and it looks pretty good. So spelling mistakes seem to be in red or in pink, and if I hover over it, they give you some possible, they're saying we found a possible mistake, and actually it should have been Rechtschreibprüfung, because there is a G missing. Findet. Possibly one word too many, or maybe a comma, so they're not too sure. You really need to check. In this case, it should be only one findet. It does spot little things like the comma should have been right after the word and there should be no space. Here they've noted that order should have started with a capital letter because it's the beginning of the sentence. And the best one I found here, because I looked at this, Donnerstag, den 27.06.2017, and I thought, there's nothing wrong with it. So I checked, and they told me that the 17th of June 2017, 27th of June 2017 was in fact a Tuesday and not a Thursday. So that looks pretty impressive. Do you want to see what they did with my text? Okay, here it is. Right, they spotted diese Jahr. Yes, it should have been dieses Jahr. They've highlighted fahren wir, and they did notice that several possibilities, but they of course don't know, do I mean fahren wir or do I mean fahre ich, so it's still your choice. Mit das Flugzeug. Now they've highlighted mit. Did I mean mir? No, I didn't. So actually there's nothing wrong with mit, but of course das Flugzeug is wrong. And they spotted it. It should be dem. They didn't spot the spelling mistake. Flugzeug? Language tool. Flugzeug doesn't exist. It should be Flugzeug. And they've spotted the missing capital letter on Berlin. What they didn't spot was my huge grammar mistake. Wir sind im August 2 Wochen bleiben. That's missing. So if you were to rely on this site, you may still have some big grammar mistakes in there. Okay. The next one I tried was Duden. And they've got a sample text here, and they're telling you that spelling mistakes are in red, which they've highlighted here. And if I click on it, it shows me that actually Rechtschreibfehler, which is the word we need, is missing an H. They've highlighted the Sie and Ihren and Ihnen. And they're just querying whether you really mean the formal you, because if you didn't, it shouldn't have a capital letter. And here we've got eine Grünmarkierung, And again, they're saying, please check that you've got the right case and whether you've got singular or plural and the right gender. And here it should actually be eine grüne Markierung. So far, so good. Here is my text. Oh. Diese Jahr. Cool. They've spotted that one. Please check. Yes, we know it should be dieses Jahr. Ich werde mit das Flugzeug. And again, they're just saying, please check whether you've got the right case and the right gender. And yes, we know it should be dem, but they don't mention spelling mistake. They didn't spot the Flugzeug either. They spotted Berlin. Should be a capital letter. And again, they missed the wir sind. So you would make a big grammar mistake again if you'd use this side. Korrekturen.de. They also give a sample text. They've underlined willkommen. Why have they underlined it? What does it say? Because it's not at the beginning of the sentence. It should actually be with a lowercase and not a capital letter. Absichtlich. We think we found a spelling mistake. And there should be another T in there. Exactly. So they've here, oh, this is nice, muss with the SZ. And it says that this was the old spelling and now it should be with a double S. So it looks impressive. How did they fare with my text? I can see a pattern here. Again, diese Jahr they spotted, fahre wir they spotted, Berlin they spotted, mit das Flugzeug, mit dem Flugzeug, den Flugzeug, der Flugzeug. So again, you work out that it should be dem because it's after mit, but they didn't spot the spelling mistake. And as before, they didn't spot the wir sind. I found another one. Onlinespellcheck.com, and this is the German version, so there is an English one as well, but we're not interested in English text. They've given an example and let's click on it. Let's text überprüfen. Okay. Earlier on I tried this one and I was able to make a cup of tea because it took so long. So again, they've put some mistakes in their text. Ein Beispiel, there is an E missing. Ich glaubst, right. Well, if you've been conjugating your verbs, you know it should be ich glaube or du glaubst. And again, that depends on what you're trying to say. And Fehler has got an H missing as well. Unless you mean any of these other words that they've got here. And sind. Okay, so somebody typed in sind, and that's been automatically corrected already. Okay, what did they do with my text? And this is actually the one where I waited for ages for it to come up. I probably couldn't cope with all the mistakes. They found diese Jahr, and again give you a possible choice, and dieses Jahr is the one we need. Fahre wir. Again, they don't know if I'm talking about wir or ich, so they've given fahren wir, but they've also given fahre ich, and a few other choices depending on what I mean with this text. Now, they've corrected mir. Ich werde mir das Flugzeug fliegen? I will fly myself the plane? I don't think so. So actually we need to reverse that one, because mit was correct. But das Flugzeug? Right, there we are, mit dem. And again, they did not spot that I spelled Flugzeug wrong. They automatically corrected Berlin. And again, they did not find the Wir sind im August 2 Wochen bleiben either. Leaves one more. And this one didn't give me a sample text. RSP 24. So I put my text in there already, but I haven't tried it yet. Diese Jahr fahren wir an Berlin, they all find. Mit das they didn't spot. Flugzeug. Now finally somebody's noticed that it should be Flugzeug, but they didn't spot this one. So they didn't spot the grammar here, and they didn't spot the sind. That of course is because Rechtschreibprüfung is just checking for spelling mistakes. So there you have it, 5 websites which check for spelling mistakes pretty good, which might check for grammar mistakes, but as you've noticed, none of those 5 sites spotted my mix-up of the past tense and the future tense. So, going back to the original question, are there any sites? Yes, there are. The good news is they do check for spelling mistakes. The bad news is you can't rely on them.